Ladies and gentlemen, even if you're driving, I want you to pull over. I want you to get out of the car for a standing ovation. So put it in park. Get out of the car. Yeah. Make sure it's safe. For the one, the only, Gilberto Silva, everybody.
Gilberto, thank you so much for joining us.
It's a pleasure, Alex and Christian. It's great to speak to you guys and be part of the show.
This is incredible. Yeah, you are now one of our co-workers. You are a part of the Fubo broadcast team for the CONMEBOL World Cup qualifiers. It is it must be an honor for you to get to work with us, I guess.
Absolutely. I'm so excited, man. So you don't know. I've been sleepless the last few days. Now, how it's going to be. You know, I have these guys very soon. Let's see. I hope I'll be, in a good level to be close to them.
Okay. Absolutely. You already better than we could ever hope for us to be. You are actually our remote analyst. So you're going to be out there at these matches. You obviously, you played in the World Cup for Brazil. You won a World Cup for Brazil. Brazil's looking pretty good. What are your thoughts going into this next match day?
I'll be excited for me. First, work with you guys for this game for Brazil. Be very excited. I'm really looking forward for this, and very excited. And I'll be excited also to see how they are going to be as a team after such a long time without playing together, due to the pandemic. It's so hard for everybody. But honestly, I have no clue exactly how they are going to look like. But the good thing is, many of the players in the squad, they have a very good performance during the season, which is so important. And now some of them became champions in Europe, in their clubs. And I hope they bring, this good energy for these two games, just to see exactly how they are going to produce football for Brazil, as we always expected. As you know, in Brazil, everyone put pressure when a player go to the national team. We want them to perform their 100% and do whatever they can to win the match.
And then when it comes to, can we talk a little bit about the comparison from when you were playing to now, the way the Brazilian player is perceived and the way they are seen? Because there's, for a lot of people, Brazil, my childhood, the joga bonito commercials and what the beauty of the game that represented. How do you see it now, where as far as Brazil is very dominant in CONMEBOL, but when they are perceived to the rest of the world, is it any, we have Neymar, we have Richarlison, we have these big players, but has it grown? Has the lore of the Brazilian player gotten bigger in world football?
Well, sometimes it's hard to compare because the time has changed a lot from my time up to now. And it's almost 20 years, basically, when we won the World Cup back in 2002. And obviously, there is a lot of quality in the squad, such as Neymar, Richarlison, other players. They had a great season. They are playing for the bigger clubs in Europe, in the world, basically. And in fact, they got quality, but there is always the last couple of years that it's quite impossible for people not to compare from the old times. What happened, in my opinion, the last few years, that some Brazilians became too much European. We lost a little bit, what we used to be in terms of joga bonito, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
When you look, the teams I've played back in maybe 2002, 2006, for example, we have players that could be, this kind of players to dominate the game, is play beautiful, proper Brazilian football. At some point, it became too much European. It's quite common in some cases because most of the managers, not exactly Tite, but most of the managers, they are the players they are playing in Europe, their own style. And sometimes for the manager here, for Tite, to work on a different base is kind of difficult because of a short time to work with these players. But I expect them not to lose what made us, what is our natural ability. I love when Neymar take the ball 1v1 and dribble 1-2, but he goes forwards. I don't like when he dribble and drop back. But when he get the ball, because he's fast, he got ability, he's strong, he can pass 1 and 2. This break the line. This you change the game. But I expect players like, Richarlison, any other players break the line as well. Not just expect from Neymar to do it by himself. Few things has changed, but on the other hand, I believe we learn a lot in terms of compact team. But there is a lot of pressure. It doesn't matter how they play; everyone's gonna put pressure on them too.
You speak a little bit about Joga Bonito. One of the things that I would say about you, having watched you perform in World Cups and on Arsenal, I wouldn't necessarily say I wouldn't think Joga Bonito when I think of you. I think of you as, without you, R9 and some of those other guys couldn't have done what they did. You were the one who cleaned it up behind them. Who on this Brazil squad do you think could take your place in the earlier Brazil squads? Is there anyone that would compare to you?
Oh, there are players with good quality, to play in that position. Now we have Casemiro is doing well. He's one of the players when he left Brazil. People didn't give much attention to him. Disbelieve him. He went to Europe and then he went to Porto before coming back to Madrid and did fantastic at Porto. And now at Madrid, in my opinion, he's one of the most important players in the squad because he let the others play. He just carried the piano. And Fabinho also in the squad is another player who helped Liverpool a lot last season. He did the same kind of job. He did the dirt job, if it's correct to say, to allow the others to play. Very similar to what I have done to Arsenal and Brazil squad. And now Fred is another player who did well for Manchester United this season. He improved a lot. Although he's slightly different from Casemiro and Fabinho, he's sometimes more a playmaker, like a second midfield, number 8. But he knows how to play in that position as well. But this type of players, I believe they are able to do basically carry the piano. But people, the other day, it's funny thing happened to me when people ask me how it was to play again with Ronaldinho, Rivaldo, and Ronaldo. I just thought a little bit and said to them, don't disturb them up front. If you understand your job, your role, just
don't get in their way.
Run for them and give the ball.
What was it like trying to defend against them in training? Because I can't imagine, like you get a good tackle on R9 on Ronaldo, and then all of a sudden here comes Ronaldinho, and you're like, what is happening? Like, can anyone help me? What was that like?
It's a nightmare. Imagine it started. Ronaldo was fast, He just recovered from bad injury, but Ronaldinho younger, Rivaldo as well, and they come like it's like seeing in the PlayStation, just run over the ball and fast. Oh, come on. Just go to that side, I just drive them.
Pick on the other guy.
I was, somehow you have to play this position I played, It's not only about to make tackle and win the balls, but you have to play with your mind. You have to be smart, how to get the ball, how to face this kind of players, because they are so smart. They are in front of you. If you try to be so smart, they kill you. They just need a small space, a few seconds to get the ball because they think ahead of you. Many, many times what I have done is just, stop their running to slow them down. Because when I slowed them down, I had more chance, but not always I had this opportunity. And sometimes I just drive them in the position where I didn't have to be by myself to confront them. Then 2 against 1 is much better.
Smart guy.
You mentioned Ronaldo, a phenomenal. It's fascinating because we have an American legend, Jimmy Conrad, who played center back, and he also said that the most difficult player he has ever played against was Ronaldo, like by far. And I'm wondering from the Brazilian perspective, because we know Phenomenal had so many injuries that really slowed down his career. How did you guys feel when he was going through that? How were you either supporting him or feeling like, what do you guys also think of, like, what could have been? Could his career even been greater than it was?
It's tough, it's because the injury he got was, could be the end of his career. And but he was faithful, he was strong, not only on his body to work out, but especially on his mind to work against all the stats against him. And he fought hard, to be back on the field because he loves the game. He got a passion. He had the fire inside of him that he wants to be back. And for the country, for us, in the squad, it was great to have him again. But, just a few months before the World Cup in 2002, he was, people was doubt of him deep out of the squad. And he worked so hard. I remember many times the physio worked extra time with him. Late in the evening, early in the morning, almost if we had training in the afternoon, in the morning he was at the physio. And also in the evening, after the lunch, he went back to the physio to work by himself to be ready for the competition. And he was very important. But everyone understood that we need to help him. Because if we support him up front, he would help us.
This is Messi's senior year. You know what I mean? He got full senioritis. He's like, you suspend me, I ain't gonna be here in a couple days,
Exactly. He's like, like when you give your 2 weeks notice at a job. Yeah. That's where he's in right now. And they're like, yo, you can't be wearing flip-flops to the office. He's like, what you gonna do, fire me? I'm gone in 2 weeks, and good luck finding a stapler when I leave.
Yeah, it's just I don't you're gonna give me a review? Really? Yeah. Okay. Not really interested anymore.
Why don't you make the meeting for 2 weeks and a day from today? You guys ended up winning the World Cup, and one of the things that I look at Brazil now, it's like, you have so much talent. Tite's got all this talent in front of him. I mean, I know Gabriel Jesus would have loved to have started a little more at City. I know Neymar would have loved to have won the Champions League or even Ligue 1 this year. So there's been some missteps. But do you think it's almost, being Brazil, the expectation is that you win every time? Do you think that expectation is on this current Brazil squad?
Of course, that is the expectation. Always, when you wear Brazil shirts, you must understand that. If you don't understand that when you are there, because you have doubts where you are. And but I'm sure they do understand, because they face, since our tragic moment here back in Brazil in 2014 against Germany, they understood how hard it is to wear this yellow shirt. All the history behind it, all the great players that wear that shirt, and as a fan, all the country demand them to be at the top, to win everything, to win every competition. It's not always their reality, because, you have the opponents, they want to beat you. Every game when you played against every team is so hard to play for Brazil. Doesn't matter if you play against the best team in the world, against, their team who are not at the same level, you face difficulties because they play the game of their lives. Play against Brazil is different from many countries, many teams. It's important, in my opinion, every player understands that. But obviously, there is maybe for the next competition less pressure than it was in Brazil. But the last World Cup in Russia was full of disappointment because certainly for all of us, we expect more. The game against Belgium when they lost, was so tough to everyone. But I believe that from the last two editions, they've learned a lot. There's still few players in the squad. And I hope with this experience, they can bring it for the next competition, the next World Cup, and do what they have to do. Do what everyone expects them to do in order to win the trophy. But as we know, it's going to be so hard.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, every time Brazil is playing in a World Cup, I'm expecting to see them win. It's usually a surprise when it doesn't go that way. The other thing I wanted to ask about was specifically about Neymar and what does this World Cup mean for him? There is he is under intense pressure, a lot of scrutiny. People even compare him to Pelé sometimes. What does this mean? Does Neymar have to win this World Cup? I don't know how many more opportunities he will get, but what do you think this means? How does Neymar need to perform in this World Cup?
I believe this the moment for him, probably as a player, on his maturity, on his age, maybe can be the best moment for him. He's more mature, of course. There's a lot of things to learn and lot of expectation on him, obviously, because everything he built over the past years. It's normal that everyone expects from him. It's like when we had Ronaldo, everyone expects Ronaldo to win the game. But it's going to be important everyone understand what they have to do in order to Neymar do well up front, give you all the support. The players around him have the personality to stand up and fight together up front. We had Ronaldo, for example, back in time, but we have Rivaldo, strong personality. If he has to try for the goal, he tried. He didn't care about Ronaldo. We had Ronaldinho, the same. And the other players on the bench, when they come on, they want, if it was possible to replace Ronaldo, they would do. Because it's part of their nature, because they are hungry to be part of the team, to be one of the first 11. It's important to have everyone, despite the fact they respect Neymar, but they want to be at the same level. They want to be on the side of him, to help him, scoring goals or create opportunity for others. Because in the end of the day, when you win, people don't speak about who was the best guy, who won. You know? This is the conversation.
Yeah.
I have to ask, I know we're going to get to plugs, but I have to ask, if Gilberto, if you were the director of football operations for Arsenal, now we're going into a summer, Arsenal had a really bad season, right? Would you fire Arteta, and why?
That's a big question.
Big question. Well, listen, it's hard. This is a hard question. You put me against the wall, but let me give you some explanation before I answer. I would give him another year. Why? After Arsene Wenger, for any manager, it would be so hard.
Right.
For every manager after Arsene. I always spoke about that. That was going. People was starting to miss Arsene few years later, and they brought Unai, but he didn't have maybe a longer time. Maybe because of his English, people became impatient to him, and was a lot of pressure. But he was a hard worker, a very hard worker, and they brought Mikel, an Arsenal ex-player, but without the experience of Unai.
Right.
Yeah. It's tough. I believe it's tough. Tough job because they had to do a lot of job for Arsenal in order to compete with the other team. Arsenal was not the same level as Manchester City, Liverpool, United, And
Nope.
when you bring a manager, you must give them players. Otherwise, I spoke in the past, they need a midfield. They brought Partey, but it's not enough. They need to bring another midfield. They need to bring defenders. And in order to have a compact team, they have guys up front. I don't know whether Aubameyang, how long he's going to keep scoring for Arsenal at the same level. He dropped this season compared to the last season. And this is the point. But I would give him this season to prove himself.
Well, I would gladly take ex-Everton player Mikel Arteta as a manager. We don't have a manager at all, so I would love him.
Yeah. Well, by the way, lost a great manager,
Right.
Put salt in that wound, Gilberto. That's right. You just lost your manager.
Gilberto, thank you so much for joining us. Absolutely honored to have you a part of the Fubo team. We're excited to work with you even more. Is there anything you want to let people know about before we let you go?
Well, if people want to follow me in my social media, that is on Instagram and Twitter, Gilberto Silva. And is blue tag, is easy to find out.
Not those fake ones.
That's right. And Gilberto Silva, the Invisible Wall podcast, we spoke a lot of Arsenal and some general conversation football. We stopped for a little bit, end of the season, but we start again. Me and a friend of mine and the co-host, Team Chase. And also me and Team Chase, we have a good partnership in a platform called True Challenge, where people can subscribe and create a challenge. If they want to know more about the platform, go there, truechallenge.co.uk, and find out how they create their own challenge, invite friends, and have fun.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we will check it out. Thank you so much, Gilberto. And best of luck covering the World Cup qualifier matches for CONMEBOL. Thank you again for joining us. We also have the Golazo gift. So this is, we've never done this with an Invincible. So
with a World Cup winner.
So we will give you the opportunity to celebrate a goal on our show. We will clip it out, turn it into a gift. It is an absolute honor. Alexis, do you want to give him a scenario that he can celebrate?
Okay, here's the scenario. It was Arsenal versus Unai Emery in the Europa League semifinals, and there's just enough time for one more goal. It's a free kick, and they bring you in. For some reason, Gilberto, you come in.
Out of retirement.
You've got your old kit on you. You got the old Nike kit, right? You come in, and it falls to you, and you happen to score it. You scored in the final seconds. How are you celebrating? Too high.
Last minute.
Love it. Incredible. Thank you so much, Gilberto, for joining us. What a great, it might have been the loudest celebration we've had so far. So thank you. Everybody, make sure you follow at Fubo Sports on all social channels. Subscribe to the Fubo Sports YouTube channel as well for full episodes of the program. Check out the CONMEBOL World Cup qualifiers right here on Fubo Sports Network, where you can catch Gilberto Silva. Follow us at Soccer Cooligans on all channels as well. All right, so we're gonna end the show the way we normally do, as is tradition. Gilberto, we're absolutely honored to have you participate with us in this. So let us end the show. So for Gilberto Silva, my name is Christian Polanco.
I'm Alexis Guerreros.
And together, what are we?
The